I'm Ethan.
I'm Owen.
And welcome to our Little Bighorn episode. We had to get back across Montana for our next stop at Battle of Little Bighorn. The drive across Montana, if you're doing it sort of diagonally like we did, is quite a drive. Montana is big. And when we got to Billings, the warning light came on for a low air pressure. So we quickly looked up on the GPS that there was a Walmart right within a mile of us, and we headed over to that Walmart. When we pulled into the Walmart, I got out and looked, and the tire was almost completely flat. It was very flat. It was our left rear on the truck, and it had a big gash on the inside sidewall. As soon as I saw the gash, my mind flashed back to minutes after we left Glacier. There was something in the road. I guess I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have, but I remember that the truck sort of straddled something and we heard a clank. So I'm almost positive that we hit something metal that was sharp and it got that sidewall. Now here is the amazing thing. We obviously got the slash like hours and hours, like 6 hours before it actually became a problem, which was very fortunate because we're out in the middle of Montana. This is a long story that's getting us off the point of Little Bighorn, but I got to tell it. I called up Discount Tire, who we got these tires from. We had just put on a brand new set of the expensive premium Michelin MS2 something or other, load range E. We wanted to be well prepared for the trip.
And we lost them.
And well, the tires were working fantastic until this happened. I went into Walmart, I got on the phone and called Discount Tire. And the guy tells me, he says, Mr. Ragu, you put on any tire you can get that's going to make you happy. And whenever you get home to us back in South Carolina, you come in, we'll refund you for whatever tire you put on, and we'll take it off and replace it with the same one so you have a matching set. So I was just astounded that they do all that. So I did. And we bought a $200-something tire to put on to do the rest of our trip with. We got home. Sure enough, Discount Tire took that tire, gave us credit for it, and actually put it on our spare rim and gave us a brand new matching Michelin to go. So we were back to a matching set. Anyway, you want to talk about customer satisfaction? Discount Tire won one in my books. There are not many campground options around Little Bighorn.
No.
We pulled into one about maybe 10 miles before we got there, and it was this campground behind a truck stop, and it was really shady looking, and the lady wanted like $40 or something for a night. It was priced a little high, and so we thought we'd just mosey on. So we left from there and kept going, and the sun was pretty much close to setting at this point. So we were kind of nervous. We thought this might be our first night that we get to spend like on the shoulder of a road or something. We stumbled into the 7th Ranch, and it was a phenomenal campground. The campground was actually very close to the battlefield. In fact, it shared a property line with the battlefield, so the location was phenomenal. We had called ahead to secure a site, and the owners were working the office. They surprised us. They said everyone that comes gets their free pick of ice cream out of the ice cream cabinet. And so what did we get?
Huckleberry ice cream bars.
Yeah, the boys remember it well.
We do. It was really good. Real good.
Had you ever tasted that before, Huckleberry?
No.
I don't think
First
so.
time.
I don't think, yeah. First time tasting Huckleberry. I don't think I even got to taste one, did I?
You did.
I did? You let me taste it?
Good.
No, you had one.
How would you describe the... I didn't have one.
You didn't?
No, they only gave us 2 and we gave it to you.
Mild blueberry.
Mild blueberry, you agree?
Pretty much a mild blueberry.
It speaks to the sacrifice that is made by those on both sides. And like few other places, it really speaks to us emotionally about why people fight.
The next morning we got up, went to the battlefield. I assume we have some viewers here that also travel with campers, RVs, and travel trailers, so you're probably curious about parking here. It is somewhat limited. There's a driving loop that goes through the park. Parking is parallel parking for RVs. There were spaces for roughly a dozen RVs. So I would recommend getting there early. The boys actually have to go get our dinner ready, so we're doing this after school, and Daddy's getting hungry. So I'm gonna let them go get dinner ready, and they'll join us towards the end of the video.
All right, beam us up.
We went right into the visitor center. The visitor center was very nice, a lot to see and do, and some relics and artifacts there that I didn't expect to see. We weren't in the visitor center long when a ranger program was starting up, and we wanted to make sure to catch that, and we are so glad that we did. The ranger was extremely knowledgeable and told stories of the battle that we wouldn't have gotten just from reading the displays in the visitor center. It really brought things to life to have him telling these stories that drew you in while you were looking out at the very field that the stories took place on. I think all 4 of us were emotionally touched by his presentation.
They came out like a bunch of angry hornets and turned his line, forcing him to fall back into the woods. You know, this was not a hand-to-hand combat type thing. They weren't riding around them on their horses. They had crawled up through the grasses here, and they would pop up and shoot. Many of them had better weapons than the cavalry did. They had repeating rifles. They would crawl up and shoot, or they'd launch an arrow into the air and come down on them. Many of the soldiers had their hands or their fingers cut off, so they would not be able to shoot a weapon in the afterlife. And each hair on every brushstroke tells a story about that major theme or subject. Now, I've just told you a hair or 2 on a brushstroke today, but it's a very important one. This battle ended the Native American way of life.
Our next activity was to actually walk up the hill and go see the memorial itself. As you walk up the hill, you're passing tombstones that, according to the ranger, are extremely accurate because they actually found the bodies on location. And so the placement of all these markers were very accurate. Actually, before I get to the next part, I'd like to have the boys come back. So boys, can you beam yourselves back in?
And we're back.
Hi.
Now, after that memorial, there's a driving loop that cuts through the park. You are allowed to pull your travel trailer or take a motorhome through this driving loop. So if you don't get a parking spot at the visitor center, you can try just doing the driving loop first.
There were wild horses along the landscape, or what we think were wild horses.
Yeah, we saw fences in some places. We couldn't tell if the horses were in fences or if they were wild. They looked like awfully healthy horses, so they probably weren't wild. But it was neat to have the illusion of them being wild.
Yeah.
We skipped over a part. Before we got in the truck to do the driving loop, the boys had done another ranger program package, and so they had to get their badges. And so, are you still feeling okay getting these badges? Or are you feeling a little awkward, like a little old maybe?
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
It'll be nice when you get older to have that collection.
Yeah.
Just to show where we've been. But
And you don't want to be older and say, oh, here's my collection, but it doesn't have everything, because at one point I started feeling a little too cool to do the ranger badges.
we're not going to include this part in the video.
Oh, we're not.
We'll restart.
We'll restart. You know I put these parts in. So what you do right this moment is very important.
I will leave this right this moment.
Because it's the most important thing I can do.
I feel important now.
It got in the picture again? Dang.
That
All
thing
right.
isn't reliable.
All right.
Alright, if you enjoyed, please hit the like, and if you like this video even more than liking it, then subscribe.
Or you can extra like it.
And be our patrons, even though we don't.
We don't do Patreon.
We don't do
No.
Patreon. Don't bother.
Don't bother.
And join us next time at Devil's Tower.
Dun dun dun.
Boom.